everyone. My task for this morning is to give important information about the stress and anxiety brought by the pandemic. We will not be focusing on the effects of the COVID-19 because I believe it is known to you already, because we've been experiencing this for like 10 months already. Now, for this session, we will focus more on how we can manage our stress. I always believe that when you focus on the problem, it will create more problems. But if you will focus on the solution, it will create more effective solutions. Stress is a state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. It is our body's response to changes or pressures from a situation or a life event. I'd like to believe that the stressors that we are currently experiencing are also the same stressors that we used to experience pre-pandemic. Siguro medyo naging extra challenging lang for us teachers because the usual face-to-face instruction was replaced with online classes. And the university activities which normally required physical presence of the students, teachers, administrators are now replaced with our virtual counterparts. Stress occurs when the pressure is greater than the resource. Kaya siguro nung transition ng traditional giving educational instructions to students, medyo naging challenging siya nung nag-shift na tayo sa online class. Probably because before, teachers tend to experience stress during grade deliberation. Ayan, teachers, alam natin to. I know lahat kayo makaka-relate. Ito yung moment na pikit mata ka na lang nagpapasa ng mga estudyante. Okay? And ngayon, because of online classes, because of the pandemic, naging extra challenging siya because yung grade deliberation nandoon pa din. However, iba na yung rubrics, iba na yung requirements. Okay? Before, pre-pandemic, teachers tend to experience stress in terms of classroom management. Dati, now it is easier for us to identify who among our students are misbehaving. But now that we are in online class, medyo mahirap na for us to identify sino ba yung mga nag-annotate bigla sa slides mo, or yung mga students na biglang nag-on ng mic. Alright, so medyo naging challenging siya. Also, before, pre-pandemic, teachers tend to experience stress in delivering their lessons. Stressful siya, pero nandoon tayo sa comfort zone natin in such a way. Why? Kasi dati, sanay ka na ang pagpasok mo sa classroom, ang dala mo, chalk, or marker, or libro. Kasi kabisado mo na yung lessons mo. But nung nagkaroon tayo ng online class, kailangan mo siyang baguhin lahat, in-overhaul mo kumbaga yung paraan mo ng pagde-deliver ng topic or ng lessons sa mga students. You are expected to create new modules na fit for online class. Napilitan din tayo na i-convert yung ating mga teaching materials into soft copies for students to easily access or para mas maintindihan nila yung lesson. So, again, itong mga stress or stressors na nararamdaman or na-experience natin today are the same stressors lang naman pre-pandemic. Mas naging extra challenging lang siya ngayon because nung pumasok yung pandemic, hindi available yung mga resources. So, ang kailangan mong gawin is to cope, to adjust doon sa bagong, sa new normal. Most of the stress we experience is self-generated. How we perceive life, whether an event makes us feel threatened or stimulated, encouraged or discouraged, happy or sad, depends to a large extent on how we perceive ourselves. Not all stresses po ay generated at work. Okay? Everyone is different, with unique perceptions of and reactions to events. There is no single level of stress that is optimal for all people. Some are more sensitive owing to experiences in childhood, the influence of teachers, parents, and religion, to name a few. But again, not all stresses that we experience today are all generated at work. It is also important, no, that we identify or determine yung sources ng ating stressors. So there are internal stressors and external stressors. Okay. So on the internal stressor side, no, nandyan yung ating mga lifestyle choices. Okay? Ito yung mga habits, kumbaga. No, kung before, no, nasanay ka na natutulog ka na alas 9. Pero because of what is happening now due to pandemic or because of the transition period, no, medyo nalilate ka na matulog sa gabi. Okay? Other things like negative self-talk, okay, yung pessimistic thinking, no, yung lagi kang negative, okay, mag-isip, or self-criticism, or overanalyzing. Another is mind traps. Now, what are mind traps? These are unrealistic expectations, okay? Taking things personally. Cognitive distortions, no? Like yung all or nothing thinking. No? All or nothing thinking po, this refers to thinking in extremes. Like you are either a success or a failure. Okay? What else? Exaggeration, rigid thinking. Okay? And it could be our personality traits, no? Yung talagang perfectionist ka lang talaga or very workaholic ka lang talaga. Okay? Other external stressors naman are social interactions, no? So ano naman po ito? It could be yung rudeness, bossiness, aggressiveness ng iba, okay? Bullying, okay? Second is organizational, no? It could be yung rules, regulations, and deadlines. So, very stressful po sa atin ito, okay? Major life events, it could be giving birth, okay? Death of a loved one, loss of job, or even a promotion can also can also be an stressors po, no? What else? Daily hassles, like commuting, misplaced important things at work, no, or other things, no, na biglang nangyayari na hindi mo inaasahan. Another is physical environment, no. External stressor din po ito, no, like yung noise, bright lights, heat, no, yung climate, okay, confined spaces, and of course the pandemic. Well, we are faced with new realities, okay. So, a lot of us, no, medyo struggling pa din dito, no, may mga iba naman na nakapag-adjust na. But because of what is happening right now, no, many suddenly found themselves no work, no pay, or nagkaroon ng temporary unemployment, or napilitan silang mag-work sa bahay. No? Sabi nga ni Ma'am Eloy earlier, di ba, parang kinonvert natin, no, yung bahay natin into home office, no? Homeschooling of children, no? Especially sa mga parents din, no, na may anak, no, and sila din yung talagang nagtuturo sa mga anak nila. No, and of course, lack of physical contact with other family members and friends. Why? Because it could be like sa atin no, emotionally stressful for us, no, yung nagkaroon ng physical or physical distancing, no, because hindi mo mabisita yung relatives mo, no, unlike before, anytime you want, pwede kang pumunta, okay? Of course, wearing too many hats can also be stressful, no? Especially for us teachers, okay? Hindi ka lang teacher, no? Kasi trainer ka din, facilitator ka din, oftentimes advisor ka, caregiver, okay? Coach or counselor, madalas program designer ka din, okay? So, pre-pandemic, teachers, educators with meetings to attend or tons of paperwork to do, okay? So again, wearing too many hats can be really fun. Yes, because masaya siya, no? Advantage yun on our part kasi it's good for our professional growth, eh? We tend to experience other things, no? We tend to improve our skills and abilities, no? Because we tend to experience different roles. However, wearing too many hats can be stressful too. Okay, lalo yung kung may mga teachers po dito na madaming slash no, sa kanilang designation. As teachers, we are expected to be role models, no, to be models of good behavior. Okay, we are expected to dress appropriately, speak right, act right, live right, or we bring home our work, and the list just goes on. No, but another important thing that I want to emphasize here is, since we are expected to be models of good behavior, sometimes hindi ka na makapag-express ng emotions mo, no, sa natural na paraan. If you have friends that who are also professionals, no, pero hindi yung katulad sa teacher na meron kang mine-maintain, okay, na meron kang mine-maintain na image, kumbaga, okay, hindi ka makapag-voice out, no, ng emotions mo. Others, no, ang gagawin lang nila, magpo-post sila sa Facebook, mag-rant, okay? Or for some, pupunta sa bar, umiinom, or things like that. Kaya tayo, as teachers, hindi tayo pwedeng makitaan ng ganun. Di ba po? Kasi sabi, we are expected to be models of good behavior. And yung ikaw na hindi makapag-express, no, ng emotions mo, okay, freely, stressful din po yun para sa atin. Okay. Yeah. So let's go now po to what could stress do to us. All right. So stress is a feeling of being under overwhelming pressure. Okay? This pressure can come from different aspects of your day-to-day life. Okay? Such as an increased workload, okay? Transitional period, no? From the traditional type of teaching, no, to online class. Okay? Perhaps an argument, no, you had with your family, okay, or friends, or a new and existing financial worries. Okay? You may find that it has a cumulative effect po, no, with each stressor building on top of another, or building on top of another. Okay? During these situations, you may feel threatened or upset, okay, and your body might create a stress response. Okay, so ito po malamang yung na-experience natin, no, na fatigue, increased blood pressure, constant worry, anxieties, changes in sleeping habits, loss of focus, and sometimes medyo mabilis tayong mairita, okay? Changes in mood, aches and pains, lack of motivation, sometimes we feel depressed, no, eating more or eating less than usual. Some of us are experiencing constipation or diarrhea. All of these are just a physical manifestation of stress. Okay, this can cause a variety of physical symptoms, emotional symptoms, mental symptoms. No, it can change the way you behave, no, and lead you to experience more intense emotions. Okay, stress affects us in a number of ways, both physically and emotionally, and in varying intensities. If you're experiencing these symptoms po, no, for a prolonged period and feel they're affecting your daily life already or making you feel unwell, you should speak to your physician, or you can ask for information about the support services and treatments available po. Next slide, please. All right. So all of these symptoms can actually lead to burnout. And kapag na-burnout tayo, no, we tend to feel unhappy. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we have to manage our stress effectively. So this will be the main focus of my presentation for this for today. Okay. So let's start. When we feel the effects of stress weighing us down, it's like carrying a backpack po, no? Backpack that's becoming heavier by the minute. Okay? Too much stress can make our journey through life very challenging and very difficult. Happy events, not such as wedding, as well as unhappy events such as overwork, can cause stress. When your stress level exceeds your ability to cope, you need to restore the balance, okay, by reducing the stressors or increasing your ability to cope, or both. Try using one of the 4 A's, okay? Avoid, alter, accept, or adapt. Okay. So what is avoid? Okay, so avoid unnecessary stress. Okay, so this may be taking control of your surroundings. Okay, like for example, naiinis ka kasi traffic, no? Na-stress ka kasi sobrang traffic. So, anong gagawin mo? You might want to leave early for work. Okay? Or di naman kaya take the longer or less traveled routes. Okay? Naiinis ka or you hate waiting in line, especially if you will pay the bills, you might want to pay your bills online na lang. Okay? Or do it or pay it in advance. Okay? You can also avoid people who bother you. No? Consider unfollowing some people in the social media. Okay? Or minimize your social media activity. No? Kung doon nanggagaling yung stressor or kung doon mo sila palaging nakikita. Okay? You might want to also try to manage how you follow the outbreak in the social media. No? There is extensive news coverage about the outbreak online. And if you find that the news is causing you huge stress, okay, it's important to find a balance. Okay? It's best that you don't avoid all news, no? Kasi maaaring may makukuha ka dyan na information that is important, okay? Try educating yourself na lang po, no? But limit your news intake if it is bothering you already. So remember to regularly assess your social media activity to tune in with yourself and ask if they need to be adjusted. Like for example, are there particular accounts or people online that are increasing your worry or anxiety? Consider muting or unfollowing these accounts or hashtags that cause you to feel anxious. Next is to learn to say no. Ayan. So you have lots of responsibilities and demands on your time. So, make sure po, no, na kapag nag-yes ka sa ibang tao, you are not saying no to yourself. Baka kasi nahihiya ka lang na mag-no eh. Pero yung stress level mo, lagpas tao na, no? And kapag ganun po, na nag-yes ka na nag-yes, no, sa request ng iba, kahit na hindi mo na kaya, ang nagsasuffer po is yung sarili natin. Next is you perform the triage. Okay. In my next slide, makikita po natin dito yung triage color codes na ginagamit sa hospital. So, triage is to assign degrees of urgency to wounded or ill patients. Using this concept, pwede mo siyang i-apply, no, sa pagsusort ng iyong mga problems or responsibilities, okay? So, red means immediate, no? Ito yung mga tao o yung mga bagay, okay, na kailangan ng immediate attention mo. Okay, like for example, deadlines. Okay? Alin ba dyan yung pinakamalapit na yung deadline? Yun yung una mong umpisahan. Yellow means delayed. Ibig sabihin, kumbaga sa mga requirements or mga submissions, ito yung medyo pwedeng ma-delay ng bahagya. Okay? Green or minor, no? Ito yung mga bagay na pwede mo naman munang iset aside, no? While completing the ones that are really important. Black, no? Sa hospital, no? This means disease, no? Pero ito, ang counterpart naman nito sa mga problems natin, these are things that you have no control over. Okay? Bakit? Sometimes, kapag sobrang sobrang lunod ka na doon sa mga tasks, sa mga problems. Minsan, yung mind mo, parang gusto niyang gawin lahat, gusto niyang solusyonan lahat. Pero hindi siya nagiging healthy for us. Okay? Now, ano dapat mong gawin? You have to apply the triage. Kailangan mong tignan, alin ba dito yung mga concern ko lang? Alin ba dito yung mga bagay na kinakailangan ng immediate attention ko? Alin ba dito yung mga bagay na kahit existing na problem, wala akong magagawa na at all? For example, pandemic. Okay? Nobody knows when will the pandemic end. Pero sobrang affected tayo and that is just normal. However, if you will allow yourself, no, na maging preoccupied doon sa nagiging effects ng pandemic sa'yo, it will cause you to think, worry, and yung level ng anxiety mo, tataas lang. So, might as well learn to adjust, learn to be resilient, no? And do things na talagang makakatulong sa'yo to adjust in situations like this. Okay. So next is to alter the situation. One of the most helpful things you can do during times of stress is to assess and attempt to change your situation for the better, okay? Number one, you can respectfully ask others to change their behavior, okay? And of course, be willing to do the same. Diba? Kasi mamaya, for example, sa bahay, okay? Ang dami niyong gumagamit ng internet, ang dami niyong gumagamit ng gadgets, nagkakarinigan kayo, no? Kasi magkakalapit lang yung kwarto. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin sa kanila na, hoy, wag ka munang gumamit ng internet o kaya, patayin mo yung audio ng gadget mo kasi nade-distract ako. No, you can respectfully ask them po, no, to change their behavior. And of course, ikaw din dapat, no, you give them po, no, yung same respect, no, and pagbibigay na kailangan din nila. Okay? So, small problems often create larger ones if they aren't resolved. No? If you're tired of being the target of your friends' jokes at parties, for example, nagkaroon ng e-session, no? Ng e-gathering session, no? Nag-Zoom kayong magkakaibigan or ng relatives. And then, meron ka dun talagang isang, number one fan, no? Na palaging pinupuna yung mga bagay na mali sa'yo. So what you can do is you ask him or her, no, na wag kang gawing laughing stock, no, and ask him or her to leave you out of the comedy routine. Okay, in return, be willing to enjoy his or her other jokes and thank him or her for humoring you. Okay, next is to manage your time better. All right. Manage your time better, and of course, communicate your feelings openly. So remember to use po I statements, no, as in, I feel frustrated, no, by shorter deadlines and a heavier workload. Is there something we can do to balance things out? Okay? Or di naman kaya kapag meron kayong mga group sessions po, no, and nagkakaroon na ng hatian ng mga tasks, no, and dahil magaling ka, sa'yo lahat na pupunta, no, pero pagod ka na din, no, kasi tao ka din. No, so hindi mo pwedeng sabihin sa kanila napaka-bossy mo, mo ganyan. Okay? You might want to say or let your feelings heard, no, by saying I feel stressed, no, I feel frustrated. Is there something that we can do to balance things out? Okay? State limits in advance. Okay? Instead of stewing over a colleague's non-stop chatter, politely start the conversation with, okay, I've got only 5 minutes to cover this. Okay? 5 minutes lang, friend, kasi I have other things to do pa. Alright? So, alter the situation. Now, if hindi effective sa'yo ito, okay, you can try the other A's. Okay? Ano yung susunod na A? Accept. Accept responsibility for the role you play in creating or maintaining your stress. Whether we like it or not, meron din tayong ambag, no, doon sa stress na na-experience natin. It is not always the external sources, eh. Okay? Even ourselves, no, minsan we tend to, stress ourselves more, no, because of faulty thinking then, which I will discuss po siguro later. What you can do is to talk to someone you trust. Okay? A problem shared is a problem halved. Okay? Develop a support network through friends or colleagues to speak with. Okay? It's not always events that are stressful, but how we perceive them. Sometimes, diba po, kapag may mga problems po tayo, minsan naiisip natin, parang dead end na, parang wala na siyang solution, parang hindi ko na siya mahanapan ng paraan. Well, because nasa sa'yo lang siya eh. Confined ka lang doon, limitado ka lang doon sa mga resources available to you, sa mga solutions na naiisip mo lang. But if you will share it to other people, okay, mas makakapagbigay sila ng inputs, mas makakapagbigay po sila sa inyo ng other solutions, okay, para mas maging malawak kung paano natin nakikita yung problema. Okay? Next is to forgive. Okay? It takes energy to be angry. No, totoo po yan, no? Forgiving may take practice, but by doing so, you will free yourself from burning more negative energy. Okay? What else? Practice positive self-talk. Yan. Ito po yung pinakagusto ko sa lahat, no? Positive self-talk. Okay? It's easy to lose objectivity when you're stressed. Okay? Sometimes may mga nasasabi ka na hindi mo naman talaga naminin. Okay? Or yung mga bagay na yon, hindi mo naman na din mababawi. Sinasabi mo na. Okay? One negative thought can lead to another, and soon you've created a mental avalanche. Okay? Be positive. Instead of thinking, I am horrible with money and I will never be able to control my finances, try saying things like, I made a mistake with my money, but I'm resilient. I'll get through it. Okay? That's positive self-talk. Next is learn from your mistakes. Okay? By accepting, okay, the situation or the problem, you should be willing also to learn from your mistakes. There is value in recognizing a teachable moment. Sinasabi natin lagi, di ba? Sige, okay lang yan, charge it to experience. Okay? You can change the fact that procrastination hurt your performance, but you can make sure you set aside more time in the future kung ang problem mo is more on managing your time wise. Okay, next is to adapt to the stressors. Okay? If you can't accept yung stressors, then try to adapt. Okay? Mag-adapt ka na lang doon sa mga stressors na yon. One way you can do it is to change your way of thinking, change your attitude and behavior, and change your lifestyle. So, thinking you can cope is one of the greatest stressors. Okay? That's why adapting, okay, which often involves changing your standards or expectations, can be most helpful in dealing with stress. If you will consider adapting to the stressors, dapat ready ka rin not to change everything. Okay? Hindi pwede na you change your way of thinking lang and yung attitude and behavior, lifestyle is same lang. No, you have to change everything. Kasi if you don't do, if hindi mo binago yung attitude mo or behavior mo in tackling yung mga stressors, hindi rin susunod yung sinasabi ng isip mo. And then yung lifestyle will be the same. Okay? Kung stressful ka ngayon, stressful ka pa rin for the coming months. So again, adapt to the stressors, change your way of thinking, change your attitude and behavior, change your lifestyle.